Hey guys, I'm Alessio and this is my cinema, and today I'm gonna talk about The Shining. I have a sort of long story with The Shining. The first time that I saw it, it was during the period that I talked last time about horror movies. I searched it because in many places it was rated as the best horror movie, so I said to myself it must be scary, I won't sleep for a week. But it wasn't like this. Maybe because there was no monster, maybe because a younger me didn't understand what was happening there, maybe because I saw it with my brother and in the middle of the day. Maybe there are other tons of reasons why I didn't like it and I got bored after a bit and didn't follow the movie till the end. And for all this time I always considered The Shining not a good movie, but I always said that I would rewatch it because it was impossible that every people liked it and me didn't, because also I like every other Kubrick movie, so it was very weird for me that I didn't like this movie. So I did rewatch it and now I changed my opinion, because many people rewatching this movie they find something new and I also found something new rewatching it. I discovered that I like instead of not. I enjoyed it quite a lot, but not enough to love this movie, because there are many things that I don't know, that I didn't like and doesn't make me love this movie. The ending, for example, is one of those reasons. It's too broad, it's left with too much space for speculation and those things. And don't get me wrong, I like those kind of endings. They are my favorite, like in The Lobster. I really like when the director cuts before explaining what's going to happen and how their story ends. But this time I feel like Kubrick didn't left too many hints to understand what was happening, how, and what's the solution. I think there is too much space for speculation and not space for a truth. For example, Inception for me it's not too broad, as many people say. It's not that difficult to understand what's happening. There's just two answers and you get those two answers even after the first time that you watch. There is no need to watch it 100 times to understand what is it and what's not. About Inception you can argue whether he's still sleeping or whether he's awake. You can argue for both things and you probably will never be wrong, but there are just those two answers. In this movie there are too many questions that has no answer, not the right one at least, and for this I don't know, I didn't like at all this choice. In this movie, for example, I don't have the elements to understand if the ghost can interact with the world or if they can't, because when they free Jack I was thinking, but they really can free him, because during the movie we have no clue if they can interact or not. Because for example, because the movie led me to believe that what Jack is seeing is just a dream and is not really there. And also Jack, he's crazy, so how can we believe that the ghost is really there? Because Jack doesn't look sane at all and what he's seeing it's probably not true. And also after every time that he sees them he's sleeping after, and so how could we know that ghosts are really there and not just in his mind? For example, not even the scene with the two naked women looks real to me, because Jax is crazy, and even when he goes back to his wife and she asks what's happened, he says that there was nothing there. Maybe because Jack knows that he's going insane, and probably it would be bad to say that there were two naked women or two ghosts or whatever they were in that room. And also the fact that he doesn't decide to go away makes you understand how crazy he is. If they were really there, makes you understand how crazy he is, but it also can make you think that maybe they weren't there because he knows he's crazy and he knows that those things are not real, so that's why he decided to keep staying there. And also the bruises that the kid gets that doesn't make me still believe that the ghosts are real, because as we see the ghost because as we see his imaginary friend sometimes takes control, and who knows if that woman really interacted with him or just the imaginary friend did that to him or something like that. Also someone can use the same arguments to argue the opposite, because I'm not saying that this is the only interpretation that's just mine and what I believe after watching this movie for the second time. But maybe the hint that those ghosts are real, it's with the character of Dick, which has the shining as the kid has, which is the ability to interact with the dead people, it seems, and also to read minds between them. He says that also his grandmother had it and they could talk for hours without opening their mouths. Probably Dick is the only way you can argue that those ghosts are real, because he is scared of room 237, and probably that's because he knows what's inside, and it's probably one of the few that can see what's there. So maybe that's the answer to all my questions, but I'm still not convinced that this is it. Maybe rewatching it in the future I will maybe convince myself that these ghosts are real, they can interact, because otherwise it's not explained how Jack gets out. But other than this argument about the ghosts, there are other things that I didn't like. For example, the acting chops of the kid. He is not good at all for me. He ruined a lot of the tension in this movie. I was really feeling tense during this movie. I was a bit scared of staying alone in the homes, but the acting of the kid in many parts ruined the tensions and didn't left me scared. The movie, also the many laughs that this movie can make you have because of many faces that Jack Nicholson does, are something that goes against the tension that it's built by Kubrick, which goes against the movie. Maybe someone can like it, as I read online, and maybe other things like me, but for me it's for sure not a good thing that those things break the tension. Or maybe someone can even say that that was Kubrick's intention, but the fact that it was his intention doesn't mean it's good. It was also Spielberg's intention to make Shia LaBeouf swing with the CGI monkeys in the fourth Indiana Jones, but still it wasn't a good idea, I think. So just the fact that they are geniuses doesn't mean that they can do no wrong, and I don't think that anyone can argue that those laughs doesn't break the tension, because it does. For example, when I saw for the first time The Exorcist when I was 12 years old, I laughed for the whole time, and I never laughed so much. I think The Exorcist is one of the funniest movies I've ever saw, because of all the swearing that he says. Probably in the 60s all those swearings, they weren't accepted. I don't know, they would help to create the scariness of the movie, but in the 21st century all those swearing, it's fun, at least for me and for myself 11 years ago. But that's a topic for another video. Maybe in 2 weeks I will rewatch again The Exorcist, because now I'm curious to see if it can become scary for me or is still very funny as I thought 11 years ago. But everything else that there is in this movie I liked. I like also the fact that it makes you think a lot. It's very important for a movie. I like the Jack Nicholson performance. The woman was so sometimes she was good, sometimes it was again very fun. Like for example when she's running on the stairs with the knife, what she's doing with her hand, it's very funny. It will be perfect in one of those movies that makes fun of it. And also the cinematography and the direction, they were outstanding. I really loved everything, the choice of the setting, the decoration of the setting, and the choice of lenses, color. They were really great. I could talk a lot also about the color, where red, as pretty much everyone knows, it's present in most part of the scenes in this movie, and many people has different opinions about the color. I didn't make up my mind yet on what I think this color means, but I can see that Kubrick put that color intentionally, because it stands out a lot in many of the scenes where the colors are mostly green and brown or yellowish colors, which blend a lot with each other and makes the red really stands out. So it must mean something. I don't know yet. Have some ideas, but nothing sure. And this is probably not my favorite movie by Kubrick, a great movie nonetheless. I will rewatch it in the future. Maybe it will grow on me more and more with the years, but for the moment it's not my favorite of his movies. So that's all that I had to say for The Shining. I hope you liked it. So if you did, you can subscribe, you can like the video and comment, and maybe check out my second channel about games, which I will link in the description. And it's all for now. See you next time.